Say, man, you're in a privileged position right now. You're in a place to be. Matter of fact, a place to G with the one and only S&OOP. So what you gonna do now? Turn that shit up and let it bang.
Everybody that you fight is not your enemy.
Trenches.
And everybody that helps you is not your friend.
Free time. Nico Trenches, we train
And
on
that's
the
what life
D-line. Getting sacks on quarterbacks, you know we live. When you check that 45, keep your nose on his inside. Better punch something, keep your feet moving, dog. My 3 tech and 110, they some real hard. My DN 6'5", he ain't got no flaws. Good grades, good feet, man, he got it all. I said crazy, he'll snatch something. Real aggressive jump, said he tryna grab something. If the old don't shoot their hands, you better jab some. You better stab some. More than snatch some. From the youth to the pros, we get it in. If you ain't watching film, you ain't trying to win. If you close the beat gap, then you gotta spin. If you get around the edge, then you gotta bend. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. Where the lineman at. Where the lineman at. D tackle, do your dance. D ends, do your dance. Center, do your dance. Guard, do your dance. Tackle, do your dance. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at.
Bet against me. Bet against me. Tell me it's not going to happen. Tell me it's going to fail. I love it. I love every minute of it.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, TKB. We are back for another episode, Busheague Sports, episode 29. I'm joined today by my beautiful co-host, Trav, No Sleep from Shredding Sassy. We're going to touch on a few things, hockey, Crosby, extension, creature of habit, another 8.7 contract, get through everything going on in week 3. We just kept looking at week 2 on the standings, and so now I'm saying it out loud. But week 3 in the NFL, we're even going to open up a little pack of cards live. I just picked up some absolute football. Guaranteed something sweet's going to come out of that. So we're going to rip that while we're going. And then touch on a few little things we got going on in the skateboard, snowboard world, a live watch party with Shredding Sassy. And I'm going to get some things going with the skate park in town. I just had a parade with a bunch of kids, so we'll get into all that. But I'm going to bring Trav up. We're going to get into the NFL, and we'll see how his fantasy squad's doing. Trav, my guy, what's happening, brother? How you doing this evening? What's going on, dude?
What's up, brother? Man, we made it through a long week. Man, this was a grinder of a week, and we made it to football Sunday. Had a great day of games. Man, we saw some upsets. We saw some more injuries that I don't like to see, but we saw more injuries. But then we also saw some legends doing legendary stuff. Some old dogs putting points on the board. Man, Derrick Henry, huge game. Man, just love to see it. Aaron Rodgers on Thursday doing his thing. Man, it's been a great week of football, and dude, I'm stoked to talk about it with you.
Love it. I love. Well, you mentioned Aaron Rodgers on Thursdays. We may as well get right into it because that was the first game on the docket, Jets and Patriots, and we can just roll right along, baby. But Thursday nighter, seeing the Patriots visiting the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers gets his second win as a Jet, and a pretty dominant one. Not that the Patriots are the best squad on the planet, but 24-3, he looked good. Everybody who had Garrett Wilson's probably crying. Alan Lazard ends up in the end zone a few more times. I know I faded him in DFS and of course didn't work out well for me, but Wilson still had a good game. 11 or 12 fantasy points, depending on your scoring settings. And most of the stuff we'll talk about will be from the Sleeper app scoring settings. But yeah, big game for Rodgers and looking good so far. I think he's gotten better looking all 3 games that he's played.
Yeah, good for him. Good for the Jets. Good for fantasy owners that have Rodgers. Rodgers went 27 for 35, 2 tutties, 281 yards. I mean, that's a solid fantasy game right there. And, you know, I don't know. People have come to expect that over the years with Rodgers as their QB. So maybe that's going to continue here in 2024.
Yeah, Breece Hall had another good game as well. And really nothing of note from the Patriots side when it comes to fantasy. But not anybody's really playing or starting many people from there, except for maybe Ramondre Stevenson, who we'd hope to see a little more out of him, but not a big week for anybody on the Patriots offense.
No, I agree. Brissett didn't even break 100 yards in the air. Gibson, 5 carries, 29 yards. It's their top rusher. It's tough in New England right now. We'll have to see kind of how they kind of progress through the year and what the outlook is for them.
Nice. Well, and then there was another game, I guess not in New York because they usually don't play at the same weekend at home because they're in the same stadium, which I'll be going to that stadium next weekend. We can touch on that in a little bit, but I'll be heading out to the Broncos versus Jets game next weekend. So that'll be good.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah,
no, I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm going out with Vayner Sports. I won one of the tickets to go out there with them, so I'll be going tailgating with Gary and AJ before the game, and
let's go.
Some other VSP holders, and then checking out the Broncos versus Jets game. Second year in a row, I get to go out to a game with Gary and AJ from VSP, so kind of cool. And yeah, go take that in next weekend. It'll be fun. So it'll be a good little trip out to Newark, New Jersey, or whatever area you call her there. I really actually probably I'll book my flight tomorrow morning. I haven't even booked the flight yet, but
and have you ever been there?
No, I haven't been to New York. No.
Neither have I. Or I haven't been to New York. I haven't been to.
I'll probably just do like my honorary fly in, be a tourist, like stand in the middle of whatever the hell town center. Times Square, yeah.
There you go.
Town center, yeah. Stand in the middle of Times Square, do a little spin around a Rooski, you know what I mean?
There you go.
And then maybe look for where's the Empire State Building, take a walk through that Central Park, see if they're eating the cats or the dogs, or if they're smoking meth, or if it's just a nice chill park. Catch some vibes on that for like an hour, make my life determination of the place off said hour, and then go to the football game.
For sure. Man, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear about it. And I don't know if we'll be doing this next Sunday, but either way, I'm stoked.
Yeah, we probably will. I'll probably just do it from the hotel in New York. But moving on, anyways, New York Giants, like I said, they got to win. That's the battle. I said earlier in the show, like, it's crazy. There's all these 1 and 2 teams, which it's not crazy. Like half the team's probably going to be 1 and 2 because it's the end of week 3 mathematically. It's actually not that crazy. But we'll get into it a little later. It's crazy the teams that are 1 and 2 that we expect to be 3-0 or 2-1. But the New York Giants and Daniel Jones get their first win this week. He actually looked like a startable quarterback, which is like, I just don't understand this guy. He's like candidate of Make-A-Wish Foundation for like 2 weeks in a row. And then he just like goes out and balls. And you're like, damn, like, I guess they got to keep him for 2 more of these kind of clustered games. Like, I'm wondering if the guy's on drugs some weeks or something. I don't know, man.
I don't know if you can say that on a live stream. I don't know if you can call a guy a Make-A-Wish kid on the live stream. Oh God, I love it. But dude, you are absolutely 100% right, man. He went.
The difference if it was live or we recorded it.
That's very true. I mean, recording, you would have a chance to cut that out, but I love it, man. Again, very similar numbers to Rodgers. 236, 2 tutties, dude. Good for him. Good for the Giants getting their first dub. Singletary, 16 carries, 65 yards, 1 tutty. Man, they got the win. And I don't know if you were saying Cleveland should be 2-1 right now. I'm not really sure, but Watson had
I think we were just kind of wondering what we were going to get out of them. I was hoping they might be 2-1 or whatever. Obviously, we'll see Nick Chubb maybe come back in week 5 or 6. That's still not for certain. But again, Watson didn't look that bad either. He didn't look great, but there was a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I think they had like 8 sacks or something crazy like that. Jerome Ford with 10 carries, only 37 yards. But Malik Neighbors came out. He had 1 or 2 that he could have caught that he didn't a little later in the game. They ended up still winning anyways, but he's looking pretty good. And then I finally decided in a league or 2 that Amari Cooper just wasn't cutting it. I'm going to bench him, and he's went for 27 points. So
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, beautiful. No, like I got the notification about 13 seconds into Football Sunday. Amari Cooper in the end zone. I was like, you gotta be joking me. I literally only guy I decided to bench this week that I've been starting consistently. And that's why I always say wait 4 weeks before you make rash decisions. And this is why. Because I made a stupid rash week 2 decision and I regret it instantly. I started Jerry Jeudy instead of him in one league, and so I lost 20 points there, and I can't remember who I started in the other one. I benched him, but What do you do?
Yeah, nothing to do there. Either way, Giants are 1-2 now, first win of the year. Browns are 1-2 as well. Moving on to the Eagles and the Saints. How about this game? This was an interesting one for me. I picked up a
I'm gonna open some cards while
no
we
worries.
play.
Yeah, let me talk about this because I was rolling with the Eagles defense in my league. And coming into this game with the Saints after Derek Carr put up the numbers he did in the first 2 games of the season, I was a little nervous with the Eagles D. And I actually had Tua. I dropped Tua due to the injury, and I picked up Derek Carr hoping he'd keep playing well. But Derek Carr struggled a little bit today, and the Eagles defense played pretty well. Another thing of note in this game is Devontae going out and then Goddard going off. Goddard putting up nearly 30 points. I don't even know the numbers. Let me pull it up real quick. Goddard, 10 receptions, 170 yards.
I'm no good at opening these packs, but
No worries. No
I
worries.
don't know
dude.
how those pro pack rippers rip them open so nicely.
I'm rocking Goddard in 2 of my leagues right now. So stoked about the game he had. Saquon Barkley, ex-Giant, putting up numbers as well. 147 yards rushing, 2 TDs. He's living it up in fantasy land. If you got Saquon, you're winning your game most likely. So shouts to that. Jared Goff card, love it. There you go, man. Dude, I'm liking this extra cam review with you opening this deck. It's perfect.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Yeah, dude, it's great. It's perfect.
Annoying or not?
Not at all. It's excellent.
But yeah, I didn't. The Eagles, man, like all that scoring came in the last like 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know if you watched the game or not, but almost nothing happened. It was 3-0 Saints, like a long ways into the game, and then that last quarter, kind of a back and forth battle, touchdown for touchdown, 1 or 2 or 3 times. But man, it was a hard fought game. The Saints were almost at 3-0, and they're not a team that we expect to really expected to be playing their hearts out like they are there. But both those teams go to 2-1 this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Eagles may be that 2-1 team that you expect to be 3-0.
Smith, Rashad White, don't mind me.
There you go. No, I love it. And the Saints stay at 2-1 as well. Derek Carr, 142 passing yards, 1 TD. Kamara, 26 carries, 87 yards. Yeah, not a bad game. Not a bad game.
Well, we got a shiny silver. Are you looking 1 or 2? So I think that's important. Oh, there's the rookie cards.
Ooh.
Julius Brent and Keely Ringo. And then Miles Sanders. Oh, and then just an insert to be I guess you probably got to scan it to enter. Speaking of scan to enter, popping up by Sleephead, scan it, go to our website, check out what we got going on. But that's for last year's Super Bowl anyways. But that would have been cool if my kid won that.
Oh, yeah, that'd have been dope, man. That'd have been dope.
But honestly, the Saints played a really good game anyways. And to see them 2-1 still is.
Oh, yeah. Very unexpected. Very unexpected. Moving on real quick, if you don't mind, this next game really is interesting to me. And I want to go out and get Sam Darnold in a league that he's available. I mean, Sam Darnold, 181 yards, 4 touchdowns. We're looking at the Texans and Vikings. I expected the Texans to put some work on the Vikings, but that was absolutely not the case.
I had to come out and get it done.
I picked up the I said I dropped the Philly defense. I don't know if I dropped them. They're still on the roster, but I dropped somebody, picked up the Texans defense today because I expected them to make some work of the Vikings. That was not the case at all. Sam Darnold just doing his thing. Jones, 100 yards rushing. Yeah, just a great.
My dad never texts me ever about NFL for any reason really, and he just randomly texts me. He's like, "Oh, do you got Sam Darnold into your fantasy?" And I'm like, "What the No, nobody really did. He's kind of a guy that really went undrafted for the most part in 2 QB leagues and stuff. He's probably taken late by some people, but honestly, was probably on the bench for the most part, unless someone was really injury riddled with Tua and guys like that." And even at that point, he had 2 touchdowns, but I was like, that's not that great. He's got 13 points. In the end, he ended up having a big outshowing, but I was just like, what the hell? So Dad, if you're watching, I guess good call. You've never made an NFL call in your life. And today it's like, oh, Sam Darnold's going up. Great to see. But Vikings is one of his teams.
It is cool to see, man. It is cool to see this guy going there, getting a second chance or third chance. Who even knows?
And Jefferson just continues to impress too, right? He just does his thing. 81 yards from the touchdown, 6 receptions. He just he's good, man. Chase Brown thinking that, or Chase Jamar Chase thinking that he deserves to get paid the same as Jefferson is up a tree. It's no comparison. But yeah, the Vikings. It's great to see them. As are they one of the only 3-0 teams, right? Or am I wrong?
They are 3-0. They are 3-0.
Is there anyone else that came out of today 3-0?
I mean, only the greatest, worstest 3-0 team of all time, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers, that's right. That is correct. And Justin Fields is goated. And I love to see it. He's been really doing well. I've said to everybody that it was Chicago that ruined him, not him that ruined Chicago. And we are seeing that play out in 3D. But before we get into those games, we'll move on to the next one on the list. Broncos Bucks. As you see, I'm sipping a late night coffee, got the Broncos mug, just really showing the pride. Obviously, never doubted the boys for a minute. Doubted them every week, actually. But the Broncos got their first win. You love to see it. I didn't expect it against the Bucks. I expected Baker Mayfield to absolutely bake on these kids today, but wasn't the case. Broncos defense, which I started in Dynasty, shouts to me, absolute genius, dominated tonight. So it's good to see the Broncos get one. I said they might only get 4 wins all season, and so there's one of them.
You know, as you said, after seeing Baker and the Bucks play their first 2 games of the year, you thought that this was a gimme for them. You know, it was a putt from 6 inches away, a 1-foot putt, and you thought it was going to be a guaranteed win, and it definitely wasn't. So, you know, it's football, right? These are all professionals. Things happen, and yeah, shout to the Broncos for getting their first win of the year.
Yeah, the boys needed it. Bo Nix looked pretty decent this week. He got it done a few times. We've seen Cortland Sutton do all right. Javonte Williams, not that big of a running game yet. Again, I'm really hoping we see him get going one of these weeks. But it ended up being, I think, Tyler Batty having the most rushing yards in Denver, which is what we expect to see. Bucky Irving with the most running yards for Tampa. Bucky Irving's a league winner, I think, this year. But no, good game. Broncos get the first one. So let's go. Hopefully we can keep it rolling next week against the Jets.
Yeah, good for them, man. I'm stoked. So the game you went to last year was in Denver, Broncos Jets. Yeah. And you were stoked to see Aaron Rodgers. You didn't get to because of the early injury, but you get to see Russ Wilson kind of SHIT the bed. You're going in. You're going to see the rookie Bo Nix versus Aaron Rodgers here next week, man. I'm stoked for you.
Nice. Yeah, I finally get to see him. And honestly, I got to see Russ firsthand, which is what let me know that he was just playing very, very bad. And it was not that fun to watch. Say Flowers rookie. We got two rookies here to start this bad boy off.
There you go.
But getting into the next game.
Yeah, Packers Titans, man. Packers pulling out the 30-14 win. Packers moving to 2-1. Titans, the salty 0-3 to start the year. Malik Willis, 202 yards passing, 1 touchdown.
Treylon Burks, sorry, he's just a bust. He's coming out of Tennessee. We got our guy. We're talking about the game, and we pulled the Treylon Burks. He ain't done much, and he's not doing much for my fantasy roster the last couple of years.
No, Pollard had an off game, 6 carries, 14 yards, not a whole lot of rushing yards happening in this game for Tennessee. Willis, though, on the Green Bay side, 1 touchdown, 73 yards, pretty good, pretty decent fantasy day. I wouldn't say a good fantasy day, decent fantasy day for him.
There's nothing too wild in that pack. Couple rookie cards,
Trevor Lawrence,
Lawrence, and some Derek Carr in there. A couple three rookie cards. The rookie cards.
How's Trevor? Sorry, go ahead.
Silver.
I was going to ask you how Trevor Lawrence's hair looked in that picture. A little pretty silver.
Yeah, not bad. Kind of like a cut off little back mullety looking thing.
Gotcha.
Obviously, if anybody caught our little clip from the show from last week, obviously nothing in comparison to mine or Gardner Minshew's these days, but love to see it.
That was a great clip, man. That was a great cut. Love that you did that. But the next one on the docket, Bears versus Colts. Bears slipping again. 2 losses in a row after that week 1 win. However, Caleb Williams, was this his first touchdown pass this week? 2 touchdown passes?
I honestly was like thinking that the Bears would maybe never score anything but a field goal all season. So I guess it was nice to see Caleb Williams actually get his first touchdown pass of the season. But He's probably should focus a little more on practicing football and less on painting his nails or something, because he's really not getting it done at this level right now.
But
So I
listen,
would love to
400
see.
yards. I'm not 400 yards. 363. He had a big game from a yardage standpoint. 2 INTs. That's not helping. It's like, yeah, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Do they cancel each other out? I don't know. But maybe he's stepping in the right direction. That's my poor man's take.
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. I watched a little bit of the game flashing in and out of red zone, and it was a lot of the Bears defense doing pretty good and making stops against the Colts, and then him throwing it down throwing it down until he either threw it in or fumbles it or ultimately just gets in field goal range. I guess I didn't see a 363-yard game watching it, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen, because it is what happened. But
Sure.
I wasn't that impressed by the play, and he took 52 throws to get there, something like that. It just a busy night of playing from behind, and mostly got all of it in garbage time.
Sure, absolutely. On the other side, the QB on the other side, Anthony Richardson, I wanted to talk to you about him. So first game of the year, they played Houston, put up quite a few fantasy points, 25 to 27, depending on the league you're in. However, the last 2 weeks, 10 points last week, 7 points this week. I would say even in that first week, his first half was pretty off. 6 interceptions on the year, 2 or 3 touchdown passes. Let me see, 3 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions. Should fantasy owners of Anthony Richardson, be nervous?
I mean, that is a very good question, because he hasn't been living up to that hype and what we expected after, I guess, only really seeing him play 1 game last year and then jumping the gun. Absolutely, most likely. But I mean, I'm not worried about it. He's playing good football, but it's just not absolutely great. He's not dominant running it in and running over top everybody like we had maybe hoped to see. But I like I say earlier in the show, I gave up on some stuff at week 2 when I shouldn't have. Wait for 4 weeks. Let's see where we're at. So we want to see 1 more week of Richardson before we really make any rash decisions. But I don't think he's playing all that bad. He's getting you at least a QB2 kind of status. And are you what are you going to upgrade to? So I guess it just depends on what you're looking at on your wire, or if there's really a trade available. Otherwise, I don't think he's a guy I'm benching, unless you have a top dog for some reason and him.
Yeah, sure. I agree. I like the 4-game mindset, so I'll stick with that. I got him in one of my leagues, and we'll keep him going. Other big games. Who do we got there?
Jordan Love. Let's go. Jordan Love. Yeah. What's next game on the list?
Well, hold on real quick. Taylor did have a big game. Ooh, there you go. That's a good pack. It's a solid pack. But
Alvin Kamara.
It's a solid pack. Taylor pulled 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game out of him. Next game on the docket was Steelers and Chargers. Steelers move into 3-0. So far, going through these games, it looks like only the Vikings and Steelers, based on the ones I've looked at so far, are 3-0. Who do we got there?
Damian Pierce and Marte Mapu rookie cards. So nothing too crazy in that pack.
Gotcha. And as we were talking, Justin Fields, I didn't get to watch this game today, which I'm bummed about. I don't have Red Zone. I was at a friend's house. He had 4 TVs rolling,
but not that one.
Did not have the Steeler game up until like garbage time, as you were saying, until they were up 20 already, and they drove the ball down, knelt down at the 1-yard line. Nobody's trying to stack Najee's points. I was like, just run it in. I got Najee, run it in.
Oh man, I forgot. Okay, so sorry to backtrack, but 1-yard line. Devin Singletary gets a 60-yard run in the Jets game or in the Giants game earlier, and runs it and stops at the 1-yard line, so that they didn't they would have went up 2 touchdowns anyways, but stops, and then they ran down the clock. I needed those fantasy points. I could have used the 6 points. What are you doing, bud? It's not just about you. When your team goes up 2, you got to think about your fantasy players. You got to give us some points. You got to do it for the people, and then make your defense do their job. All they got to do is stop these guys at least one time.
Do you think that maybe he was playing somebody that had him? Do you think he was playing somebody that had him?
That's probably something you're not allowed to say live on the air over what I said.
He definitely was. He told me. No, that's hilarious.
Right on. But yeah,
Um,
the Steelers. Going back to what I said earlier. I think Justin Fields is a good quarterback. I think the Chicago Bears never gave him anyone to pass to. Never really invested in him. Made him look like he's the bad guy. And now here he is winning games with the Steelers. The best thing that ever happened to the Steelers organization was a rough whatever, rough looking whatever. Had a little ankle cramp on his calf and couldn't play no football. Because you guys would be 0-3 right now if Russ Wilson was a quarterback.
So I don't disagree with that. And I'm hearing that I saw a couple things today that is saying that even though that they're saying he's week to week or day to day or whatever, that he may be out longer than expected, that in practice, he's only taking few snaps. He's not mobile at all. And, he's taking a few and just making a few passes.
He's not mobile at all is right. He hasn't been mobile for years. Look at him.
I'm a Steeler.
He should have to give the Broncos back all $98 million. He's fleeced everybody. He can't even walk, and he's just signing contracts. Pretended like he could walk for 2 seasons in Denver. Really ruined their whole organization. And now look what he's doing over there. At least he saved you guys the grace of not going out and pretending he could move around. At least he sat himself. But the Broncos, he did us dirty.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, I'm not completely sold on the Steelers yet. Their opponents, they're 3-0. However, it was Atlanta, it was Denver, and it was the Chargers. So once the Steelers start getting out there and playing those top level teams, their schedule right now looks like Indianapolis, Dallas, Las Vegas, Jets, Giants. They have a pretty clean sheet besides Dallas as a really strong team, and who knows where the Jets are at, how strong they are, but I mean, they could end up 6-2 by their bye week in week 9, I think, pretty easily without playing somebody really that difficult. So their schedule is light up front. At the end, they got all those AFC North battles. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with them.
For sure. Moving on to Miami at Seattle. So there we found the other 3-0 team. I guess there is a couple. So there's not just 2 or 3. We got another 3-0 team at the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith at the helm. I actually plugged him in over Trevor Lawrence this week in a league. I decided to sit Lawrence, so that might have panned out. I also definitely started Jackson Smith-Njigba, though, who didn't really get it done this week like he did last week. DK Metcalf with another week over 100 yards. And Zach Charbonnet continues to get it done. Basically just because my buddy Rich tried to get me to pay a first rounder for him all off season. Then I was like, there's no way I'm doing it. I'm not paying you that much for this plug. And then, of course, after week 1, Kenneth Walker is down, Charbonnet's in, and he's being an absolute stud. And my buddy's razzing me all the time. So it's just how it goes. But he's proving to be a great player. And I'm just hoping it doesn't affect my boy Kenneth Walker when he does come back. I'm hoping they at least let him continue to be the dog.
I've been helping my daughter in her league, and she's playing in a real light, with her friends. She's in 8th grade. It's a 6-team league. So there's lots of players always available. You know what I mean? And I was talking to her, and I looked, and she wasn't starting, obviously not starting McCaffrey because he's hurt, but she didn't have him in her IR slot, and she didn't know she could pick somebody up. And that's why I had her pick up Charbonnet last night. I said, oh no, you got to move McCaffrey down and pick up Charbonnet. So she picked him up, didn't plug him in because of how nice of a team she has already. But it's definitely fun doing that with your kid. And I don't know if you said Metcalf had a bit of a game as well.
Yeah, that's what I said.
100 yards.
100 yards. He was the dog.
Good.
Didn't see it. Didn't see a whole lot from the Dolphins. Dolphins more of a team we expected to see at 3-0 or 2-1, and they're sitting at 1-2. I mean, you got to arrest Tyreek Hill, I think, before the game if you want a performance out of the boys, because it seems like you're not getting anything out of them the other 2 weeks. So I guess we'll see what they can keep rolling or what they can't. But the Dolphins are not looking like the team we hope to see.
Tua going down's hard. Thompson actually went down today as well. I don't know if he came back. I didn't see if he came back, but I know the third stringer ended up coming in. Looks like Thompson with a shoulder or ribs, and I moved on to the next game after that. But he got wrecked. He was getting wrecked that game. Seattle's defense was coming for him pretty hard. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All the
Skylar Thompson's not looking like the answer, that's for sure. So we might be seeing a new quarterback come in playing next week. Christian Gonzalez, rookie.
I'd like to, dude. I'm sitting with Waddle in the league. I'm sure Tyreek Hill owners are looking for something like that. So interesting times for sure.
I got some card that looks different than the rest. I don't know if it's anything special though. Introductions: NFL Rookie Premiere presented by Panini. Always working. What's this? I don't know who it is even. Is that bad?
Yeah, I can't even read it.
It doesn't
Can't even read it. No worries, dude. No worries.
Tyler Scott.
Is that Travis Scott's brother?
Must be. Yep. That's why he's getting a fancy card. Moving on to Panthers Raiders. Panthers starting the dog, Andy Dalton, and coming out on top of the Raiders, getting a win. The Raiders were going into this looking decent with a win over Baltimore, going in 1-1. Panthers. Was it all Bryce Young's fault? Or what's going on? Dude, I want to know.
So, I mean, the Raiders aren't winning any awards for greatest defense in the league right now.
Raiders, we got a Devontae Adams Raiders card.
Yeah, they're not winning anything for greatest defense in the league, but Dalton come in with that ginger strength, that ginger game. I don't know what you want to say. Got a little bit of that demon in him. Was chucking the ball, man. 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chuba, 114 yards on the ground. Thielen looked good, and then he went down. I don't know if he went down with a concussion or what it was, but I know Thielen got injured. Have him on the bench in one of my leagues. Kind of bummed. Cool to see him get a touchdown and a couple balls thrown his way, and Dalton getting the win for the Cats, man.
Giving the Panthers team some hope. That's the first time they've got like any actual points in the first quarter in like a long time. And it's just nice to see Andy Dalton get the boys a win and not have an 0-17 team this season.
Yeah, I love it.
Ooh, nice little Nick Chubb card. Maybe he's coming back here soon. So moving on from that game, nothing too wild there. But in an exciting comeback, Rams come back on the 49ers today to take it 27-24. Impressive for Stafford not really having his guys there. Tutu Atwell stepping up, going for, I think, almost 100 yards, 4 receptions, and then just spreading it out. Kyrie Williams with a big day, 2 touchdowns. It was interesting to see for everybody on the San Francisco side, leaning on Ayuk, thinking the guy who made the offseason so crazy was finally going to, have his big performance. No, Dwan Jennings steps up for 11 for 175, 3 tutties. One of the biggest fantasy performances we're going to see all season
100%.
from the guy that barely anybody started, except for probably like 2 teams I'm playing this week. Of course, they needed him for some reason and started him. Why wouldn't they?
Absolutely wild. I had Ayuk today. Bet for anytime touchdown, was pretty confident. No go, all good. Jennings getting that ball and putting those points up was pretty cool.
Look at that. Look at this bad boy. This one just Geno Smith in that green looking fire. Fire, baby. We should be doing some card giveaways in the future. Like we should get into like some of those companies doing breaks. During the live show, we'll sell some cards. If anybody's interested, give us a comment. Also, if you're watching, please do us a favor. Give it a share, give it a like, give it a retweet, tell a friend, do whatever. If you're watching on YouTube or X or wherever, that's where the show will be found. Streaming after is on X and YouTube. But we're also, I think, streaming live on Instagram as well right now, too. But we should do some polls in the future where people can, take home some of these cards. We'll sell like spots for like $5 or something. Oh, baby. There we go.
Oh, Gibbs, there we go.
Mark Gibbs rookie card, baby, in the absolute football. That's it. That one will be worth a couple bucks. That's a nice little pull.
That's perfect too, because the next game on the docket is Lions Cardinals with.
Let's go. They're just bringing in the Lions.
Dude,
Lions
how about that hook and ladder? Did you see that?
The which?
Hook and ladder in the Lions game. So St. Brown.
Fancy. Jalen Carter. Storm.
That does look fancy. Yeah, you'll have to look it up, man. Hook and ladder. I believe it was St. Brown caught it, pitched it back to Gibbs, who ran it in. I think so, man. I might be talking crazy. Let me look.
I think I caught something of it on Red Zone, but I didn't really fully catch it. But
maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this
another
is
big game for both Detroit running backs. It makes so, like I said, my fantasy dynasty team, I went out and got Kenneth Walker this year because I'm low on running backs. I have the two Detroit guys, Montgomery and Gibbs, and then I have like Javonte Williams and a bunch of guys that just haven't panned out over the years. Walker's down again. I'm already relying on only my two Detroit running backs, and they're just ripping, man. 100 yards, one tutty. Say Jamar Gibbs gets in the end or doesn't get in the end zone, but 83 yards. But Montgomery's like looking like RB1 over there right now and just carrying my squad. These boys, I mean, you got like a 5-6 round discount on Montgomery too over Gibbs this year, and he's definitely been the dog out there. So it's interesting to see. And then St. Brown at least living up to what we hoped for with a touchdown and 75 yards this week.
You know, looking at the Lions' run defense is, top notch, maybe number one in the league. Rushing yards on the Arizona side were next to none. Kyler Murray, I guess he did have 45 yards rushing on 5 carries. Nothing from Connor. Murray, you were thinking a pass heavy attack. I think Murray was over under 225. Was the line for him there. I took an over on that. Didn't hit that. He was 207. But big win for the Lions coming back.
There's something thick in that one. We're gonna get a patch or something.
How many packs you got left, man? You've been
that's the last
like
one. So this one 42 cards per box. So there's 6 packs of 7 cards. And this is the 2023 Absolute Panini. So we're looking for basically like those Jamar Gibbs rookies or CJ Stroud, etc. So it's nice to get that. The big ones are like the Kabooms or etc. But yeah, we'll get through these as we do these last couple games. But yeah, the Lions team just Sam Laporta still not getting it done for everybody who drafted him. Is the number 1 tight end overall, still not getting it done for us out there. So that's sad to see. Hopefully his week will come in his time in the sun will come.
He tweaked his ankle a little bit today. Saw he had ice on it for quite some time during the game.
And then Marvin Harrison finds the end zone again, so he's doing his thing for fantasy buyers as well.
Yeah, good for him. I know that a lot of fantasy owners, including me, were nervous after week 1, barely any touches, and then he's looked good the last 2 weeks. So good for him. If you had that confidence in him and picked him up early, maybe in round 2, round 3, that was a good pickup.
And then moving on to the last game, aside from the one that's being played right now, Ravens, Cowboys, 2 teams that we thought would be coming in playing 2-2 this week and going for, one team coming out of this 3-0. They both end up 1-2 coming out of week 3, which is just like the big story this week. A lot of 1-2 teams that we expected to see being 3-0 or 2-1 had they faced each other. And a near comeback at the end for the boys, but the Ravens get a win finally. And I've seen a stat. I think it's like only like 20% of teams that start the season 0-2 ever have even made the playoffs. So I guess it's like a monumental battle to even ever come back to make the playoffs just from a simple 0-2 start. So we'll see if the Ravens can keep it moving and be on the right side of history for them on that one. Yeah. But a big game for both teams, and the Ravens come out just barely on top, 28-25.
Yeah, like you said, the Ravens own that whole game. At the end of the third, the Ravens were up 28-6. Dallas came back at the end, putting up 19 points in the fourth. I started getting stoked. Obviously being a Steeler fan, and an AFC North battle with the Ravens is likely coming. I was hoping for the 0-3 on them. Living in Dallas, I know the Cowboys fans were pushing here. I don't know. After the week 1 victory, Dallas has looked pretty poor and has given up big leads early to teams back-to-back weeks, both games at home. People should be worried in Dallas land. Oh, TJ Watt, what are we doing here? Let me see the front. Or is that the front? Is this the special one?
That's the patch. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So we got TJ Watt patch. Oh, and Isaiah Foskey rookie card. I don't think it's super, super rare. It's numbered 27 of 399. So it's not like super, super rare, but that's a nice one to pull. TJ Watt on a literally impressive run. I know he's just announced they're having a little girl as well. His brother was razzing him today. I caught that before kickoff this morning. But TJYC, look, someone could have won that if we were giving out spots. But that's a nice one. Beautiful little TJ Watt, Tools of the Trade, game worn little piece of jersey there. So that one will be nice. Maybe we'll start doing that in the future while we do the show. I think we should do some card pulls. What do you think?
Yeah,
you
I think this is great. I think it's absolutely great, man. Back to the game real quick. As I said early on, Derrick Henry, huge game, 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. I got him in both of my leagues, so I am stoked, man. There's all your cards. That was a good day.
Nice. Cool. No, it was a good day of football land, and oh, did I lose your audio? There we go. No, good day of football land, and we got the game going on right now. I'm trying to ignore it as much as I can because I'm going to watch it when we're done the stream. But from what I can tell, start of the fourth quarter, 22-17, Chiefs ahead of the Falcons right now. Kyle Pitts had a big catch earlier, and it got immediately finished off by Bijan Robinson when Pitts came up a yard or two short. But still good to see Pitts getting anything done at all for his fantasy owners, even if it's not finishing with a tutty. That's a nice big play, 50 yards. And
yeah,
I mean, he's doing better than Mark Andrews, who I started in my Dynasty League and got me nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's he's not likely to do much this season. It's
I see what you did there. Woo! I see what you did. Did anybody else catch that? He's not likely. Ha! No, I love it. Hey, and then we're back to 2 Monday night games this week. What's going on?
Yeah, I noticed that. Is one of them international? I wasn't sure. Is one London? I don't know what's going on, why they got to do that to us 2 Monday nighters. It makes the fantasy sweat a little harder, makes setting those lineups a little harder for Monday. Or maybe it makes it easier because you got 4 teams to pick from on a Monday night if you got a late scratch. So maybe it's actually good for fantasy owners. But yeah, don't know what they got going on, but they definitely got 4 games going. There's 4 teams playing tomorrow night.
How you feeling? So it's Jags, Bills, Commanders, Bengals. What are the Jags looking at right now? Jags are sitting at 0-2. Bills 2-0. I know Josh Allen.
Bills will be that 4th 3-0 team, I think. Well, unless KC gets a win, then they'll be the 5th. But I think the Bills will get an easy win over Jacksonville this week. Nothing against Jacksonville. Bills are just the superior team. You would have hoped Jacksonville would have got a win in one of the other games. So this one's going to suck for them going to 0-3, I think. But should be easy win for the Bills. The fuck is Keon? Excuse me. There we go. Now we're canceled for the week. But is Keon Coleman doing? This guy's got to get her going. Yeah, the boys stepped back, took him early in the second round. Maybe they should have just stepped up, took Xavier Worthy, who's performing for the Chiefs day in, day out. But we shall see how it all goes for the boys and if they can get her done here over the course of the next few weeks. But I think it's going to be easy win for the Buffalo Bills this week against Jags.
And then we're moving into the last game, which would be the 7:15 p.m. game tomorrow. That's my time here in Texas, 8:15 Eastern, I believe. Bengals sitting at 0-2 against the Commanders, sitting at 1-1. I mean, the Bengals got to win this game, right? The Bengals have lost already this year to New England and Kansas City. The New England loss is it's tough to swallow, especially like looking at how they performed today. However, I mean, you almost got to expect the Bengals to win this game, right?
I mean, you would hope, right? They haven't really got much going. They took a loss to KC, which they obviously, if you're a Bengals fan, you would have loved to see them get that win. But over the Commanders, you're hoping it's easy work. But man, it's been an interesting season so far. So we shall see what Washington can do with their rookie quarterback. Obviously, first time they've had a rookie quarterback start season for them in many years. I forget the stat line. I'm supposed to know it as I was on the clock here, but I don't. But Bengals, they got to right the ship this week, or I think you're like well under 10% chance of making the playoffs if you're starting 0-3.
Again, AFC North fan here. Love to see it.
Jamar Chase wants to get paid. He better get the ball in the end zone. That's all I know.
Yeah, definitely need him to do it. I have him in one of my leagues, and I'm sitting solid today. I am 0-4 in my Bush League Sports League. Shredding Sassy is 0-2. So we're struggling a bit. I don't know if you want to pull that up. Do you have that available? I'm sorry, I just kind of put you on the spot with that.
Not at the moment.
No worries. I apologize. But
I can pull it up pretty quick, probably.
Yeah, we're struggling a bit. I think that it's good because it tells me that everybody's engaged in your league right now and everybody's putting their all into it. Because I know that all the sassy folks are engaged and playing their teams. So we'll see what happens. I think that I know I had a big week this week and I've seen a few others. So hopefully we can pull out the win today.
Nice. Here, let's see if I can post something up on the side here. Boom, boom. Nope. So while you're looking at that, looking at some of those Busheague vending tokens, you can get those. Those are going to give access to our 3D drop that we do in the future, as well as our future fantasy sports leagues and all of our access to our online fitness as well. But those are they're looking beautiful. They're looking nice and beautiful. It's a pretty bold art endeavor that we took on while doing this one. So really look forward to sharing that with everybody and hope that everybody can go check that out and see what we have going on and get access to some of our stuff in the future. But there's those standings you were looking for.
Yeah, look, Sassy hurting down there. I mean, it's all really close. So VSP in top first place is sitting about 150 points ahead of the last place team in week 2. That I don't know if that's a lot or not. I don't know if that's a lot. I guess points don't really matter.
Not really.
But it's been close. I would say it's close.
Because we scored 72 points more than VSP last week, but then they scored 74 more than us this week, so they're back ahead of us. So so if there's 2 swings the other way, it's 150 points. So I think so far through 2-3 weeks, it seems like 100 to 150 points is the variance from top to bottom scores, where it's just depends how your matchup lines up that week. But yeah, you guys will get your win. And I know you'd mentioned too being 4-0 for everybody who might be confused by that. We run league median scoring within the league, so you're going to get an extra win every week if you're one of the top 6 scorers in the league. And I think I got a couple buddies that hate it. I got some buddies like you that love it. I think it's a great feature, rewarding the top scoring teams in fantasy, because you can't play defense. All you can do is set your lineup, try to get the best score, and it sucks when you lose a match, but you have the second or third highest score. So I love league median because you still get your win on that week. One of the 2 wins.
I absolutely love it. And you gave me a little bit more than I have right there. You said 4-0. Actually, I'm 0-4. I am I haven't even broke 100.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm hurting. But today I think I'm already over 100 today. So I think we're sitting.
There's our week 3 matchup. You guys are playing the Bam Bam's Fitness Club, the Not Okay Bears against Accutars, and we're up against VSP. So for anybody wondering what that is, we run a online fantasy football tournament between these 6 different communities this year. We got all kinds of prizes up for grabs at the end of the season, tons of NFTs from all the communities, different fitness memberships, all kinds of stuff. Looking here too, we got weekly high score prize. The highest score in the league every week takes home something different. We're on week 3, so this week someone's taking home an OD Labs homing device kit and umbrella. Looking forward to seeing who gets a high score this week. Last week, my buddy Balin actually took home the high score, 168 points. Got himself a Bam Bam's Fitness shirt and some memberships. A couple you can give out to some friends and such. But we're just basically trying to have a way to grow some of these Web3 IPs subtly into sports, while also creating something that is engaging for our communities in Web3, while attaching it to what I hope to be a nice, solid, flowing Web 2 fantasy platform where anybody can come in, simply pay with cash, join a fantasy league. You can win, you can lose, but have different perks for people who hold those tokens and things that we were looking at earlier, and just really try to grow a fun fantasy sports platform that's rewarding to the people in Web 3. I think that's the big thing behind Web 3 and some of these tokenized memberships was, can you create something that is rewarding for your consumers or the token holders or digital membership holders, however you want to go about it, that is enticing enough that they actually want to go out and be your marketing and help you grow your platform. And so trying to create something that's truly rewarding for the people that hold those digital tokens, while also fun for everybody that plays at every level, no matter how they get into it. So we'll be able to give away all kinds of cards and different stuff throughout that. Obviously, maybe people with the points or the tokens get special extra rewards or chances and stuff like that. But just really looking to grow out the platform. And I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. I know you guys took a tough loss last week, but way she goes, you'll bounce back.
Yeah, it's still been really fun, and it's cool to see everybody engaged, having a good time, everybody talking smack. It'd be cool in the future to get a group chat somewhere that has everybody included, so that
that would be the Bush League Discord. You just hop in there, everybody can chat.
What?
And,
that's where you can do it. Oh, let's go. I'm teasing you, man. I'm teasing you. I think we need to definitely get everybody.
We definitely need. I want to do some episodes in the coming weeks here too, where and I've already reached out to AccuTars, where I would like to get the members from the fantasy league to come in on the show, and we can all banter about what's going on in the fantasy league, and do that with each community at least once throughout the season. So if you want to organize the Sassy community, let me know what week works best for you guys.
Awesome.
We'll line that up one of these weeks too. I think we should definitely do that throughout football season.
I think we can. I think that's going to be no problem at all. No problem at all. But dude,
love it. Moving on to some hockey.
Yeah, dude, let's move on to some hockey, and I'll let you kick us.
Say, man, you're in a privileged position right now. You're in a place to be. Matter of fact, a place to G with the one and only SNOOP. So what you gonna do now? Turn that shit up and let it bang.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
California, so it'd be cool for the old family to come back to Canada. I always bug all my American buddies. They're like, hey, you guys never get out. I'm like, this spends every summer. That was my hometown. What do you mean? As far as the way back home, the Saturday note, it deserves to be back in Canada. That's a true move.
Way to settle into the second half of the show where we get talking a little twig. And for anybody that doesn't understand what that even means, well, you don't need to. No, just talking wood. Anything, do a little hockey sticks, little skateboard, little snowboard, all built out of wood. We're not going to get into any of that other X-rated wood stuff that Trav was thinking when I said wood. He gave that big old smile. I'm like, oh, I see. But no, we're getting ready for NHL season coming up. You're going to be drafting in the expansion draft, which after this show, you better stick around. I got to dial you in. We need you to make that first pick. You're on the clock, baby, in the expansion draft. But it's fantasy hockey season coming up for anybody. So if anybody has some questions, fantasy hockey related, please fire them in the comments. We'd love to answer them. We'd love to get you dialed in on that. You can ask us anytime throughout the next week or two. Hockey's firing up. I want to say October 4th. So we are about 14, 15, 2 weeks out, and then we get into NHL season. So I don't know what you want to kick it off with, but a couple stories, nothing too wild, but some preseason action on the go lately. And Sidney Crosby obviously signing another contract and whatever else. Oh, he's got the Pens jersey on.
Yeah,
this guy's cheating on his Dallas Stars tonight. Cut the clip. He's get him out of the season ticket holder in Dallas. He's got this jersey on. We got to ban them from the arena.
Yeah, I had to rock the I don't even know what year it was. It was the first Winter Classic in Buffalo.
That's a Winter Classic one.
Yeah, it's the first year in Buffalo. It's snowing, and Crosby's the third shooter in the shootout. To win, he has it on his stick. He scores it on Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller's got the toque on over his goalie mask. So I got to rock this one. This is one of my favorite jerseys I have. But Crosby again, 2-year extension, $8.7 million per year. Significant discount Pittsburgh gets for Crosby each time he re-signs with them. Hometown team discount, whatever you want to call it. Especially after you see Draisaitl get $14 million 2 weeks ago. For Crosby to come in and get anything less than 10 it's highway robbery. But that just shows the type of person he is. That shows that he is in Pittsburgh for life. Good on him.
Yeah, well, and I know, like he said, that that he wants to win a cup. He's only got probably these 2 years left, I would think, getting close to the end of his career. You see a lot of people wanting to see him move on and go to a different team, try to take a run at a cup to end his career, asking that question, like, wouldn't it be easier to potentially move to a better team, take a good payday as well, and have a good shot at winning a cup in those last 2 seasons? And he's staying loyal. He believes that they're going to be able to make something happen, make a playoff run in one of these last 2 years that he's there. So we'll see if they can make that happen or not. But like he said, everyone has to buy in. Like, it can't just be he takes a discount. Like, the whole team has to be willing to take a discount, because now if some lesser guy comes in and gets paid big dog money, well, it defeats the whole purpose of him taking what he does. Because it's really, yeah, sure, it's something, but at the end of the day, it's like a $4 or $5 million cap hit that he's not going to have, as compared to like that Draisaitl contract or something like that. Say this guy was getting paid 10, 12 million. But with that being the case, you still have to have everybody else do it. You really want to be freeing up 10, 12, 14 more million in cap space per season, so that you can really bring in one or two extra players to fill those depth roles, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that he is doing it right. He's doing it the way that, and I say he's doing it right. As a Pittsburgh fan, as a Pennsylvania kid that I am, like, I want to see Sidney Crosby stay in Pittsburgh, maybe more than I want to see him go win another cup. I guess that's selfish in a way, and Pittsburgh fans may feel that way. They may feel different. Some Pittsburgh fans might be like, send him out. But I can see how the greater hockey fan would love to see Sidney Crosby competing in the playoffs again. Sidney Crosby going to maybe Dallas, going to Colorado, and really being on a cup contender, which right now, unfortunately, the Penguins are not. So I see both sides of it. For me, him sticking in Pittsburgh.
You think Letang and Erik Karlsson can be the guys to get it done as they age? Like, they've had good seasons, bad seasons. That's kind of who we're relying on as the big dogs in defense, and they're both kind of offensive guys.
Yeah, so Letang needs to learn to play a different game, right? Erik Karlsson is up in the zone. He's an offensive defenseman. I think Karlsson should be leading the PK. You quarterbacking the PK. You can't have him and Letang both on the PK. You need one of those type of players on the PK. However, Karlsson makes these insane plays. However, Karlsson also jumps for the puck, misses it, and then 2-on-1 going the other way is a goal, right? So you're right. You need a stay-at-home defenseman, and I do think Letang needs to change his game, or they're not playing on the same line, and it's going to be okay. So Letang does need to play a little bit more stay at home.
Yeah, I mean, you can see one guy quarterback in PP1, one guy in PP2 would be pretty lethal, but they just need guys that can play that penalty kill solid and be, like you said, reliable 5-on-5, not making some of those offensive minded mistakes. If you really want to be able to make a good run at it, was
2 years ago,
they got some great teams, right? Like, looking back 10 years ago, Crosby and Malkin is just an elite duo, and it's crazy how time gets everybody, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you can think of what elite duos can you think of over the last 20 years? I mean, you think of Taves and Kane, or you think of Malkin and Crosby. Who else do you think of?
Zetterberg, Datsuk, maybe?
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, you might say Ovi Backstrom, you might say
I was gonna say like Messier and Gretzky, but that's probably beyond 20 years. We're starting to date ourselves a little too much.
Lemieux and Yager. And back to the Crosby thing, is Crosby a better Penguin than Lemieux was? Numbers wise, probably not. I think Crosby is coming up on a point per game record right now. I think Gretzky and Crosby right now are tied 19 seasons at least 1 point per game. So nice. If Crosby can come in and do well, I think he'll pass Gretzky there. But is Crosby better than Lemieux? Or is he better for Pittsburgh or whatever? Who knows?
There's always that argument of that, but then there's always like these guys definitely played in different times. Like, I think
absolutely.
I think it's harder to score now than it was back in the day. I think defense and goalies have just gotten. I mean, I guess it's 50-50 because defense has gotten, I would say, easier to a point now, because back in the day, you used to be able to kill people. Like, the players are better, but you literally used to be able to just kill people. So like there was the factor of like, come near the crease and you will get elbowed in the face, and that's completely fine.
Holding and grabbing and all that too.
Yeah,
it was just all free for all pretty
so
much.
you definitely have better defensive play now, but it's less rough, so it almost evens out in a sense. But goaltending is just far and away better. Like you're not seeing guys with flat bladed sticks come in and just clapper it from the top of the circle and score goals. That doesn't happen, right? Like and let's just be honest. There's a lot of Lemieux goals, a lot of Gretzky goals, a lot of those guys, great players, but a lot of just like came in flat blade, smacking slappers from the none of those go in today's hockey ever.
Sure, agree.
Like unless the goalie's screened by that defenseman, you're scoring, I would say, at least 80% less of those, if not 90%, if not more. Like it's those shots don't go in today's hockey.
Agree. And I want to go back on something I just said. I said, is Crosby better for hockey than Pittsburgh than Lemieux? And I want to say I take that back totally. I should never have said that. Lemieux is the only reason that hockey is still in Pittsburgh. It is at Lemieux is absolutely
there. He owns the team. He
owned it. He kept it there. At the time they were doing bad. They were looking at moving, and
Pittsburgh, baby.
There you go. So I take that back. Crosby won the three cups. Lemieux only won two, but Lemieux is the reason there's hockey still in Pittsburgh. So
I respect it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting a few extra viewers coming in. The football game must have ended. Everybody's finally being like, oh, well, we need a little more entertainment now that game's over. See what these two idiots are saying.
Oh, boy.
No, I love it. And so then, obviously, you guys got your training camp and stuff going on in Dallas there. It seems like maybe you were over there with the kiddo or something, checking something out. Were you in the stands?
It was a blast. It was a blast. So usually the Stars do training camp down in Cedar Point, which is near Austin, Texas. They go off site. However, this year they had it here in Frisco at the Comerica Center where they normally practice. So they had their training camp there. It was really cool to see them bring in all the young players and, vets alike and really run through drills and scrimmage and really get after it. So I went to day 2 of training camp on Friday, went with the wife, just kind of like on lunch from work, went down there. We went in the main stadium and there were, 10 guys on the ice. There's, 2 sheets of ice in a lot of these places. Most of the young kids and some of the vets were scrimmaging on one ice. On the other ice, there were, 3 of the NHLers, 4 or 5 young guys. Otter was over there. That's Jake Ottinger, the starting goalie. Casey DeSmith, the new goalie that came down from Vancouver, was out there. Mason Marchment, and there was 30 people in this rink watching. There wasn't many people at all. You could hear everything happening on the ice. You could hear them bantering back and forth with each other. The coach coaching them, and it was just really an absolutely awesome experience. Like I felt like I was a part of it, right? I felt like I could holler out, and I was kind of joking and laughing as they were joking and laughing because you could hear them, and it was really something special. And then afterwards, seeing Jake Ottinger come off the ice, and he signed every piece of whatever the kids brought to him. He signed every little helmet, every jersey, every card. He signed everything. It was really cool. Casey DeSmith gave a stick to a kid, and there were only like 30 of us in the rink. So it was just kind of really a special experience. And I'm bummed I didn't pull my kid out of school for it because it was really cool.
Are you, just anybody's allowed to go? Do you got to pay? How's that work? Or are you a season ticket holder again, or what's going on?
So it was a claimable ticket. Free to get in, however, only so many people could get in, so you just claimed it via their website on Ticketmaster and showed up, and it was great. And then after that session ended, I went over and watched some of the scrimmage and saw some of the young guys getting after it, saw some of the old dogs getting after it, and I mean, it was fun just kind of being at glass level with those guys. I don't ever sit on the glass, but seeing how big Liam Bischel's a new defenseman that the Stars have that's absolutely huge, and I'm hoping he cracks the opening day lineup, and we'll get to see him out there with the guys of Hiskinen and Esa Lindell and the Stars defense. So
nice.
It was really a fun experience. I highly, highly recommend if you can go to an NHL level practice. If your team does it, open practices from time to time, take your kids, have some fun. It is really cool. It's a different experience than the game, but it's a place you can learn a lot.
Nice, I love it. Well, we're almost wrapping up. I know you got to go, and we got to chat a little bit about our dynasty league here soon. But again, if anybody has any fantasy questions, whether it's what you need for Week 4 waivers in NFL, or just getting ready for one of your first NHL dynasty leagues, or maybe you've never done one but you're thinking about it, we can dial you in. I'll give you all the tips you need. So just feel free to ask away any questions, whether it be on Twitter or Instagram or wherever, or right here in the stream. We'll answer them live this week or next week. But we know that you got to take off here in a bit, Sleep. One thing I wanted to touch on, I wanted to send a shout to all the kids, everybody in the community here that came out with me for doing the parade this weekend. We have our little Goose Fest. It's a little weekend of festivities in the town that I live in, Kindersley here. And I've been starting my fundraising campaign this last week for building a skate park in town. So I kicked that off, I guess, quite a few years ago. And thanks to the town, they gave me some land, a few good donors in town, a couple companies, especially a company I contract under, Hollands, has been very generous in helping me get it going. And a few other businesses stepped up to kick it off. So now I've really got the fundraising going this past week. And I had a bunch of kids join me in the parade this past weekend. So we just kind of rolled down Main Street, giving out candy, giving out flyers and information about the skate park. So it was nice to see 20 or 30 different kids and some of their parents show up to march down the street with me. So I wasn't just by myself doing it. It was nice to see a good turnout of people trying to helping me support and showing the community that there is quite a bit of interest in us having a space like that for kids. So it's good. And I'm hoping the fundraising goes good over the next weeks. If anybody's watching, please feel free to share some info, or if you want to donate, you can head over to our Facebook page or just reach out to me. And I would love any donations, and they'll get kind of a lifetime plaque at the park for helping us get it built, et cetera, and just really stoked to make that happen for the town here.
Man, that's great, dude. It's so cool that you're doing that. And do you know that that's how you and I reconnected, was via your skate park effort? So going back at how you and I have known each other, I would say this is our third football season where we've interacted. 2 seasons ago. So this is our third. So I guess the first season you were hosting Twitter Spaces, and I hopped in one. Just, you had an Alien Friends PFP, I had an Alien Friends PFP on X, and you were talking football, and I wanted to talk football because I had a fantasy team, and it just, we connected in that way. And I think I jumped in 2 or 3 spaces with you, not a lot throughout the whole year. And we followed each other on X or whatever happened, and then maybe 6 months or so after the season, you made a post about the skate park, and I think it was also the Tony Hawk foundation, effort that you were working, and we were helping you raise some money. But it was the skate park and your efforts to build a skate park in your local neighborhood to give kids that place to learn, grow, to release, and doing so in a safe space. That was something that really kind of brought me to you, and I was like, holy cow, this is a guy that I need to connect with. I need to connect with Shredding Sassy, and we need to kind of link up and figure out how we can help each other. And now I have you in for 18 months. We've been doing these shows, having fun, and man, I'm just really, really excited for you, and really excited for your town to see it start to come to life. And man, you gave me goosebumps when you texted me this week to say, holy cow, I've raised this much money already. And it just seems unfathomable that you were able to raise that much money so fast, and you're this close to your goal. And I'm so happy for you, man.
Thanks. No, I appreciate it. And we'll see over the next couple of weeks. I'm really hoping to hit some big numbers in that fundraising goal and make this thing happen. So thank you. I appreciate that. And any of my homies that support the idea always gives me a little extra drive to get it done. So appreciate that for sure. And then on a closing note, I know you guys over at Shredding Sassy are going to have a little watch party coming up for some events in the future and some upcoming stuff. I don't know if there's anything you want to let us know
no worries.
Going in the snow and skate world.
Yeah, love it, man. Well, this one is out in the mountains. This one is the Red Bull Rampage in October 10th and 12th. We'll be doing a little watch party the October 10th through 12th. We'll be doing a watch party in the Shredding Sassy Discord. So follow along with us at Shredding Sassy on X, at Shredding Sassy on Instagram, where you'll get more information. But we're going to be doing these watch parties monthly. We have our discounts. We have live events happening all the time. I'm really excited about the things we're putting together at Sassy. So hoping to connect with you more, and the skate park that you're building. And it'll be some good times.
Love it. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining for another week. And next week we'll get into it. We'll see where we're at week 4. That's kind of where I'll make some final decisions on where I think the teams are going in the NFL, who I think is making the playoffs, who I think isn't. We'll make some hard, bold predictions at the end of next week. And then we'll be 1 week closer to NHL kicking off. I'll be down in New York for the Jets-Broncos game. So we'll probably do the show probably from a hotel down there somewhere, I assume. And it should be a good old Sunday. So we'll see what the weekend brings, and it should be fun to get into it again next weekend. Or I guess see what the week brings and see the weekend.
Heck yeah, man! Perfect. Buy your tickets already, dude. Quit waiting to the last minute. Buy your tickets.
Sometimes it pans out both ways. Like a lot of times the tickets get super cheap if you wait. The odd time it goes up a lot, but a lot of times it works out in my favor. So just procrastinate heavy and then dial in a flight. And
don't tell my kids that, man. Don't tell my kids that. My kids live that procrastination life. I'm like, stop, go clean up your room.
That's fair. I'm bad for it some days too, but in the end, it all gets done. So
no worries. Appreciate you, man. Hey, have a good one. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, brothers. Take care. For everybody tuning in, still watching, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching another week of the Bush League Sports Show with myself, TKB, and my pal Trav, No Sleep from Shredding Sassy. We'll get into everything next week about how our dynasty expansion's going to. I'll let you know who Trav picked, whether he had a good team of keepers or a shit one. Ooh, the little emojis pop up on the screen when I do that. Fucking future's here, baby. But until then, we'll dial in. I hope you have a good one. Hope you guys win your fantasy matchups. Remember, 2 games Monday night. Still a big chance the winner, as opposed to most weeks where you only got 2. So, 2 teams playing this week. You got 4. So you might not be out of it yet, even if you got a Bush League looking team. But anyways, we will catch you next week. We'll get you one step closer to those NHL drafts, and we'll walk you through everything we think is going to be some late round sleepers for you in those drafts. You watch last week's episode, you can run back through who we think is the top 5 at each position if you're doing a dynasty keeper draft in the next little bit. But hey, until next time, stay Bush League, you beauties.
From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. Tell them never question, dog, I'm sitting ghost status. Eating chicken with my gin, smoking on some cabbage. Used to pedal on this
moment where you skate down the street and some shit for brains yells out of the window, "Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip!"
And house shoes, they know how the dog do. Skinny, heavy pockets, the West OG. Came across the globe, say they don't know me. Been applying pressure from 8 to 24 like Kobe. Mr. Hall of Fame used to bend the corners with strollies. Had to lay the blueprint, they rolled out the carpet. Anything I wanna own, I got my own market. Blew this, blew that, everything beautiful. Still ain't sold my guns and I still ain't had to use them though. Was once a hard head, now I'm counting blessings. I made my own way, still they don't ask questions. From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions.
This is some straight, hey.
This is, oh gosh.
I got thin to smoke it.
Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. I can't name a thing that I didn't have step. From the streets to movie screens, been getting bags and checks. Hit the solid, you won't hear me with no bad rep. Legendary Crippin' made it happen, and that's on the set. Still rolling on gold things, I'm a boss. Go get it, what the fuck you waiting on, man? Let's go.
Blaming on my mom from all the crippin' I see. Blaming on my grandpa, all the hustling.
Yes, sir.